What's up, Armor Down? Third bell review. Gone through first bell using the senses, tying our focus into the ability to shift the mind fully into the present moment, the experiences of the present moment through sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. Understanding the importance of the ability to shift from the narrative of past future analysis, logic, uh, to present tense focus of the moment through the senses. It's not that the mind disappears, it's that the mind moves in and becomes present with what's happening. The mind, as you well know, can go in any direction, but with first bell and with the practice, you're saying, okay, all right, mind, boom, you're taming it, you're bringing it in, bam, coming into the moment. Bell one. Bell two, this whole body thing, right? This body. If you think about your mind or your consciousness as what you're kind of focusing or taming, you think about the body as what gives consciousness, what gives the mind, what gives whatever we are embodiment. It's another layer. It's another awesome layer. It's a layer that comes from 13.5 billion years of evolution that turns this kind of this non-physical thing into a physical thing with multiple layers, just unbelievable kind of layers and sophistication. And there's an opportunity to have a relationship with that layer, that body layer. It's bell two. Bell three really has to do with learning how to be with and present in the fluctuations of your inner world. So your inner world is the world of emotion. Your emotion is the thing that creates the embodied relationship to the world around you. It's what gives life it's what gives all of this a deeper layer, a more nuanced layer, greater opportunity. It's your inner world is as sophisticated and full of adventure and full of everything as everything in the outer world is, so the inner world, outer world, they're all the same kind of potential. Now, because that's true, it includes all of it, right? So it's not just the good stuff. It also includes the really, really hard stuff. It also includes the really, really sad stuff. It includes the whole spectrum. And what we're doing when we interact with third bell is we're practicing being as calm, being as present, being as wise as possible with those fluctuations, especially the hard stuff. And so, what third bell really gives us is that chance to practice being with the ebb and flow through the breath to prepare us for, help us navigate the really, really hard stuff. And as you're probably living through life like I am, there's lots and lots of change, lots and lots of really difficult change happening. And it's not slowing down in any way, shape, or form. So, what are we supposed to do about it? Well, we do as much as we comfortably can, we do as much as our edges will allow. But we're still just one person and we're still having to navigate these big shifts that nobody quite knows how it's going to turn out. So what can you do is practice with the breath. Third bell is all about practicing with the breath in an environment that's predictable, because this is the practice, so that when we get to a place where it's really dialed up, where it's full, where the inner world has got all kinds of stuff going on, we can recognize that, go into the practice, and give ourselves as much spaciousness to be wise, to be patient, to be smart, to be strategic going through these challenging times. That's third bell. Okay. Now, third bell, third bell, of course, leads into fourth bell. Fourth bell will go into next week. And fourth bell, we'll talk about open heartedness. But today, all about third bell. So go ahead and begin setting yourself up for the practice. So keep your eyes open, but keep your eyes kind of cast down. What I want you to do is study your peripheral vision. So instead of putting your attention on what your eyes are looking at or what's right in front of you, just study the edges. So without moving your eyes, look to the outside edges of your field of vision. Notice the bottom of your field of vision. Notice the top of your field of vision. And it's interesting just to kind of be with that reality. Like, notice what's doing the choosing, right? What's choosing to send your attention to the outsides, to the tops, to the bottoms. Isn't that neat? Now you're getting feedback as vision, right? You're getting feedback as the edges of your visual field. Now, the chooser, right? Your awareness is going to shift. So close your eyes and notice how the awareness shifts to sound. So now you're choosing to focus on sound. So now your awareness kind of spreads out and zooms in on what sounds you hear. The locations of the sounds. And then zooming in on the absence of sound. So there's areas around you that are silent. Notice those areas. Now, in first bell, you've got to kind of get everything on the same page. So this is what taming the mind does. When you tame the mind, you've got to kind of coax the mind, which has its own kind of autonomy in certain instances. You got to coax the mind into the present. And so you've got to use something that's grounded in the present. That's your senses. So you're coaxing the mind in. I can tell in the early beginnings of first bell, I can feel the kind of the unsettledness kind of resisting the settling in. So that's totally normal. So you just kind of keep that kind of attention coming back to the present, back to the present, back to the present. So from sound, let's go to sense of touch and just notice where your skin is open to the air. Notice temperature, notice movement of air. Really basic. And then start assessing temperature difference. So there's areas of your body where the temperature will be different. There'll be different expressions of touch, temperature, slight pressure. Now, being the chooser of where your attention's going and You've been in first bell now for over a minute, over 90 seconds. Your nervous system may start to settle into the parasympathetic side, the relaxation side. So now zoom in on a particular space on your skin. So I'm going to zoom in on my right knee. My right knee has got my right hand palm down on top of my right knee. And I'm just noticing with my fullest attention the space in between my hand and my skin. So there's the pressure of my hand on top of my skin. As I pay attention to it, I can kind of feel a little bit of tingle in the space. And I'm also aware of how I'm, kind of like with sight, I'm giving my attention to a particular element over all other elements. I'm going to zoom out to open monitoring. So I'm going to go from focused attention to open monitoring. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I just noticed some areas on my body that have some unique sensations. So there's a little bit of sweat moving down my chest, down my stomach, and it's got a tingly quality to it, a little bit of like almost like a chill, goosebumps kind of. Oh, there's one. It's almost a tickle element to it. All right, from there, I'm going to go to sense of smell. Eh, And the second I put my attention on sense of smell, smell shows up. I wasn't aware of smell at all. And now I'm focusing on my sense of smell, and there's some smell. There are all these layers. It's like your attention has capacities that are unrealized until you focus on them. Smell wood, cardboard. All right, now I'm going to go to my mouth. Noticing teeth, lips, moisture in mouth. I'm just going to go to open monitoring again. And one of the things I've noticed is my eyes are fluttering less. There's a kind of a general quiet over the body. So I get a sense that I kind of achieved the objective of taming the mind. The mind is very much engaged with what's happening in the present moment. There's not a lot of pull from the mind into past, future, expectation, labeling, et cetera, et cetera. It's pretty well engaged. So I'm going to send it through bell 2 into the body. So I'm going to turn my attention to the ground. Okay. So first establishing a connection to my legs and my rear end. And today I'm just going to try something a little different. I'm just going to move my hands, around my feet, around my ankles, just kind of just a squeeze, not so much a massage as it is just kind of like a, hey, what's up? Just like all the parts of my skin at my legs, kind of the muscles, the layers, just kind of feeling around, really putting hands on my ground, my legs, just just kind of a feel, just kind of a, yo, what's up? Hey, good to see you, Kind of move that, shift that, wiggle that, whatever. I'm gonna go to my pelvis, just kind of putting my hands on my hips, lower back, top of the rear end, front side, kind of groin region, just kind of framing out pelvis, especially the front, like below the belly button, the pubic bone right there. I'm gonna move up to the core, sides of the core, really just using the body as like this kind of interesting thing to feel and to engage with. I just got a kind of a little tingle release. It's just, just moving your hands around, just kind of feeling the structure of the body at the different chunks that we always talk about: ground, pelvis, core, heart space, throat, top of the head. So I come to the chest space, just kind of feeling around, mostly just emphasizing these chunks, these areas, giving it attention. Kind of feels kind of nice. I've got a little bit of goosebumps here, kind of moving around, feeling the arms. There's just a lot, just a lot. The present moment has so much. There's just so much going on. And the attention we give to ourselves, to the moment, each time we come to the present moment, it's where that's where the healing is, that's where the love is, that's where the experience is. It's all in the present. It's right now. Throat. It's almost surprising to me to kind of feel my body. Jaw, face, top of the head. Just feeling the outside. Let's give a little bit of motion. Shake it up a little bit. Feel the inside a little bit. Put it all together at the spine. Just create some movement. And then get to stillness again. Just really, really still. I can really feel it in my eyes. My eyes are completely settled. Stillness feels nice. Okay, so let's go into bell 3. Breath. Just notice it as it is. Your body is breathing itself in a incredibly sophisticated way. So just ride that wave first. Just ride what is. And just notice the size of the inhale, size of the exhale. Notice if there's any resistance anywhere, any kind of feelings that, that breath is not moving here, it could be moving there. But also notice just total, unobstructed, smooth, easy, almost imperceivable breath. Now notice its direction. What direction is the breath moving in? There's all these elements of the breath that are often underperceived. So location, intensity, direction, depth, size. These are all aspects of the breath that are always showing up every moment of every day. And you're just often under perceiving what's happening with the breath. Now, if you can perceive what's happening with the breath, you can start to develop an awareness of these little subtleties, these little aspects of what the inner world can represent. And from that little subtle awareness, the inner world becomes more accessible, more explored, more familiar. And the reason why you want that familiarity is because it's the inner world that's going to show up in an emotional state, potentially some really difficult or challenging emotional states that you want that intelligence around. You want to know what's happening, when it's happening, so that your inner world isn't driving, your inner disrupt isn't driving your behavior. It's going to influence your behavior, but it's not the driver. Your awareness is the driver. So you're practicing noticing location, where you feel the breath, the intensity of the breath. At what is zero? What is zero intensity? Zero intensity is like your awareness of the breath disappears. There's just nothing happening. It's just quiet, totally integrated. But even at zero, it's got direction, right? So it's still got aspects to kind of notice. You're refining your capacity to notice. You might even notice that there's areas that are holding, creating restrictive aspects to the place that your breath can go. If you notice that, oh, wow. So you can kind of let that go. So there might even be layers to zero intensity that you're not even aware of. And then as you start to pay attention, those layers start to be perceived. And it's like, oh, then maybe there's a release there. And then it's like all of a sudden zero takes on a deeper meaning. It's like, oh wow, there's layers of softness, there's layers of ease, there's layers of total integration and total presence that I'm not aware of. And you can get even deeper into it, sink more fully into the wonderful, delicious feeling of smooth, deep inhales and exhales. Now let's start to explore full inhale, full exhale. We'll go from kind of the spectrum of zero to the spectrum of 10, right? So go to max out the size of your inhale. And here you're going to be doing it. You're, studying zero, the body's just kind of doing it. But here you're going to be kind of influencing how you breathe. So take the breath all the way to max inhale. And then let that go. Take the breath in again to max inhale. And let that go. Now, each aspect of location, intensity, direction, depth, and size can be influenced by you. So you can influence how the breath is moving. So when you go to max inhale, you can do it fast, you can do it slow, you can go inhale from kind of the top or inhale from the bottom. So you've got all these options. And what each of these options can afford you is a participation with the ground from which your emotional experience will show up. So your breath is your explorer of the inner world, your influencer of the inner world. And because you have experience with, participation with, study with your inner world, how your inner world shows up will be less foreign, less surprising, less dominant in your life. So, what you're looking for is not the elimination of the inner world, the world of emotion, or a particular type. My emotional world should only be this or should only be that. It's not that at all. It's the inner world can be whatever it wants to be, and I will be prepared. So let's just experience the way the inner world can show up by exploring the breath. So what you're going to do is you're going to we're going to do this for 3 rounds. You do this on your own. I'll walk you through the first round, then I'm going to do 2 more by myself. But what you're going to do is you're going to disrupt the pattern of breath. You're going to take a deep breath in. You're going to hold it in and hold, stopping the breath, pausing the breath. And what you're going to notice is the inner world, okay? The inner world talking to you. The inner world's going to talk to you through sensation. It's going to say through sensation, it's time to exhale. And as you hold that insistence by your inner world to exhale will grow sensationally. And it's going to have a quality inside your body that I want you to look for. I want you to study the quality of the way that inner world talks to you, encourages you to exhale. And then you're going to notice or look for the way the inner world rewards you when you do so. So there's a clear call and response by the inner world to your behavior. And what you're looking for is just familiarity with how the inner world shows up, creates a quality of feeling, and that quality of feeling then influences behavior. Your behavior then influences the quality of feeling. And a lot of this is automatic. You can't necessarily change the way this works. You can become more interactive with it. You can become kind of more nuanced in your relation to it, but your inner world has a lot of autonomy. So you're kind of wanting to just know that it's there and participate with it. So when you're ready, take your full breath in, max it out. Hold at the top. Watch the inner world. And let it go. Is it kind of a little bit of a blissful, kind of feel? When you're ready, do it again, 2 more times, and just notice the way at the top of the inhale, the inner world, when you hold that inhale, the inner world starts to accumulate sensationally. Watch that accumulation. Watch the subtlety of the inner world communicating to you with greater intensity over time that it's time to breathe out. Now, here's the thing that's neat. The counter feeling, right? So the more intense, longer you hold, the more kind of blissful, pleasurable the release sensation will be. So just notice that the longer you hold the inhale, the more you'll feel it, right? The more your body will say, it's time to exhale, it's time to exhale. Well, the longer you hold that edge, the more the feeling of, thank you for exhaling, the more that will show up in your inner world. Okay. The biology of all this is pretty neat. There's a lot to be learned from what you're doing, scientific realm. But the experiential elements, the stuff that you yourself can feel, that's what we're after. What can you feel right now? Your internal experience. You might notice that there's a lot to it. There's all these different feelings, there's these increases and decreases, and settles and deepenings and intensities. It's all just all going on. And your goal is just to learn how to participate, learn how to focus on what's happening. Let's do it one more time. Do you notice how the inhale after the hold has a quality to it that is kind of enhanced? And then the enhanced sensation starts to disappear. You let the breath go back to its normal patterns, kind of give it back to the body. Say, all right, body, you do it. And you just get to feel the leftovers in the new inner world, that the influence that you can have over the inner workings of your body. And that's third bell. Every time we practice third bell, we're practicing the landscape, our interaction with the landscapes of the inner world, the world of emotionality, the world of feeling, We're practicing our participation in that world in preparation for the fullness of life. That's third bell. Fourth bell. Let's just start with gratitude. Give language to something in your mind that you're grateful for. Then turn that language into a visual. See it, visualize that which you're grateful for. Now shift from visualization to imagination. So imagine that your heart is sending gratitude to that which you're grateful for. Maybe it's an invisible string, maybe it's a beam of light. Whatever it is, imagine your heart and that which you're grateful for connected through an invisible string of gratitude. Now, from there, just become gratitude. It's not an analysis or a languaging of gratitude, but become gratitude. Give your heart its full prominence. Give the expression, the imagination of your heartfelt expression of gratitude towards that thing and be fully gratitude. Try to feel gratitude throughout your whole body. Feel gratitude in your ground. Feel gratitude in the pelvis, the core, the heart space, the throat, top of the head. Feel the inner world, just like we studied in Bell 3. Feel the inner world fill with gratitude. Become gratitude. Maybe there's sensation in the body around the feeling of gratitude. Maybe the head, the mind, the imagination fills with images of the person you're grateful for or the thing you're grateful for. But have a sense of openness towards your body and your mind and your spirit's ability to be 100% focused on gratitude. Just let all the different forms that that intention can take be present and continuous. To finish the practice, take a full round of inhale, full round of exhale, full round of inhale, full round of exhale. Second exhale finishes the practice. Hmm. Quiet. All right. That's third bell review. We've got our fourth bell coming up next week. Sorry, I get quiet and just kind of, you know, quiet. Anyway, thanks for practicing with me. Uh, if I haven't said this recently, the notion that you are out there listening and practicing gives the practice for me that much more kind of value and importance, and I just love sharing it with you. So thanks, and I'll see you later.